Welcome back, anglers. I'm the Survivalist, and we return Called Wild the Angler, where I do have news for, well, the little bit of the series left today, because Cabela's is wrapped up this weekend. I finished the recordings for those, so that means I'm also going to wrap up with Called Wild the Angler for Golden Ridge Reserve as well. Now, what my plan is for, like, the fishing series that we've got slotted with the hunting series is I've got another small fishing game I'm going to check out that I'm thinking is going to probably be for maybe like 2, 3, or 4 weekends just to check it out, see what it has on offer. But there has been a bit of a surge in viewership for Called Wild the Angler as a series. So if you guys do want to see me tackle Troll Spirit, just let me know in the comments on that, and I'll probably look at scheduling that as the series to follow up the little mini fishing series that'll come out, just to change up the channel a little bit for its content, because basically, up till the past week, a lot of what we had has been around since the year started for series, so I do want to get a few different things on the go. Try them out, switch the vibe up a little bit, so that way it doesn't feel like we're a little too stagnant with, like, nothing new we're seeing. So for this weekend, it's just going to keep going through Golden Ridge's gold rank stuff, see what we can complete and what we can't, and just take it as we can. I have, admittedly, since the console update for Called Wild the Angler and that, the game has improved drastically from the very first time I played it. I think if the studio, like, developing it and publishing it wants to save face a little more, anytime they're going to try putting a product out that's going to have a later console release, just say it's out in early access on PC first. Because, truth be told, I think if they had actually said that Called Wild the Angler released is an early access release rather than a full release it was, you could have saved a lot of face and had a little bit better feedback and built out the game a little smoother. Like, I still do have some issues with Called Wild the Angler, but there's no denying it has improved considerably since its first initial release. Right now, we're starting with going after the O-Red Trout, and I'm just double-checking to see the hook sizes. So we want hook size of 4 and 3 should be able to land us one of them. And I've got a float fishing set up right now, so maybe what I'll do is I'll try going to that little dock over there and see if maybe getting a cast out from that'll help. Yeah, we're going to try for the O-Red Trout. We'll see what else we have for objectives we can tackle too. I do know we need to get another level to start getting, like, the hook sizes of 2, 1, and such for some of the other species we have the challenges for. But overall, the progression curve is much smoother, and that's even without signing up for the Apex account or whatever to get the daily challenges, and maybe even weekly as something as well. Well, we'll just toss that out, leave it sit for a little bit, and I'll keep talking. Because, yeah, with this being a wrap-up for the Angler, I'm trying to think of anything that I still would like to see changed. Like, the big one for me is having it so you can manually change the time of day in-game so you can target nocturnal species better, or even early morning species as well. Giving the players a little more control, then you have to either server hop to find a night server to fish on, or you have to let the game naturally go through its, like, 2-hour day-night cycle. Actually, no, it's, I think, even 3-hour day-night cycle in order to go from day to evening hours to start catching some things like the burbot, sauger, and some other things like that. They aren't exclusively nocturnal, but it does feel like you have much better chances once nightfall actually does hit naturally for going for them. That was one big thing. Another one, it's more quality of life that I think I could see the Angler using. Like, I know there's another DLC of, like, a South Africa map coming out in, like, actually maybe even tomorrow from when I'm recording this. But instead of more, like, content that way, I'd like to see more quality of life stuff being added. Like, again, even if you give, like, a hook size ratings in the journal or the handbook for the species, it doesn't have to be, like, broken down to every rank of, like, bronze, silver, gold, etc. But even just have the smallest to the maximum, so that way you have an idea of what range you need the hook sizing for. So that way when you're trying to go for a species, it's not a complete shot in the dark and you have to look up a secondary resource for it. It's in-game. You can kind of say, okay, it starts at hook size 9 for this species and go all the way up to, say, 2. So that means, let's say, 9 is the smallest you can get, so then 8 is probably bronze, 7 might be silver, or maybe 7, 6 would be silver, gold could be 4 or 3, and then 2 is diamond, or something like that. So the player has a little bit of idea of how to start honing in as they're working towards their things. That way they don't have to go chasing and looking up all kinds of extra resources to bring in to help make the game feel like it's just in a state they can tackle better. Another thing, too, is I'd like to see a little bit more done to the maps to make them have, like, some more supports for the fishing aspect. Like, one thing I've talked about is, like, finding, say, bait sites or materials to craft lures or such out there. I think just adding, like, even some markers out into the world and then having, like, a little bait icon or something. Just to say you can go out there once per day, you can collect, say, like, 5 pieces of a bait. You could have, like, a big site for worms, little minnow traps for that, or leech traps. You could even have, like, some of the cabins for that, just say, like, the person who resides there likes to bake and then sometimes prepares dough in little baggies, and you just come, take one, and there's yours for the day to help. Something like that, where as you're exploring, you have some stuff you'll find that does support the fishing. Let's face it, right now, the area you're exploring and roaming around, aside from a little bit of experience gains, doesn't really do much to help support the main aspects of the game. So I think that could help a bit to give the maps a little bit more variety, personality, and it feels like you have something you're trying to actively find and helps for the fishing aspects. And then the other thing would be your own personal, like, cabin, lodge, or something where, again, I know they want to keep the catch and release style of the game. I still think if you want to do that, sure, fine. But have a way where you can have, like, a replica made of the dimensions of the fish you caught. And that can be hanging up as, like, a little trophy on a wall. It's not the fish itself that's back swimming in the water. But because you've caught it, photographed it, have all the details and specs of it, you can then have, like, a mock trophy in place to say that I did catch this. Because that's something that the angler doesn't really have, aside from, like, when you do haul the fish in, is you're holding in your arms. That's the only longevity you have to say you caught this. You don't even actually really save the photos unless you take the picture either. I think the most you get is, in the profile, you just have, like, your biggest catches, and that's it. Like, if this is all you're really getting for all the different species you can go and catch, it feels like there should be a little more to kind of have, like, lasting impact for yourself. I'm trying to think of anything else. Those are the big ones that stick to my mind. I think there maybe could be a little bit more done for, like, the different fish species of, like, depending on how they act, you can kind of know what you've got on your line already. But that's something I don't really have as much experience with, like, actual real-life fishing of all these species to know. But the ones I do, like going after, say, the pike, it feels like they should have times where they really rock it and try to get away. Then you bring in, and they really fight again. There are... Oh, that's another actual one I just thought of, too, to talk about. There are some fish that I think do symbolize that pretty well, but others, not so much. I don't know if it is the case of they don't have as much, like, fight to them compared to others. Again, it's kind of a gray area. I don't have enough experience to really say one way or the other. So more experienced anglers would have to be able to chime in on that and what they think. But the other one that I just thought of to talk about is the trait system itself. I think we could use some more traits given to fish, like, do they prefer to shelter around rocks or structures or such? Like, the big thing for me was trying to catch the golden trout. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was the golden trout. They seem to like to hide around rocks and structures and such. If you try casting into open water, you're not going to have any luck with them. So it might be something that trying to add a few more traits in there to help give a little bit more idea of where to try fishing at each watering spot or each fishing area could help a little bit there as well. I don't think there's a big gap content-wise that the game is lacking. I think it's more so just some quality of life things, some polish, and little touches here or there to help bring the experience a little bit more fully around. And I'm going to bring that in because we're not seeing any luck on that. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to change this down to a hook size of 4. And I'll just slap a hot dog on there for now. I need to see what the Orid trout like to go for. Eggs, redworm, and crankbait. Let me try eggs. What hook size do they go to? Okay, can't do that. I've got the redworm. I don't think I have a crankbait. Do I? Let me check. Do I have a crankbait of hook size 4? I don't think so. 6, 5. I mean, I've got a spoon, but I don't know if they go for that. Yeah, see, that's a 5. I need a 4, so it doesn't look like I'll be able to use that. Anything else it says for, like, inspecting? Not super much. See, it does say worm there, so I wonder if that means I could try, instead of red worm... Oh, no, okay, no, I think worm is actually one of the things for jigging. Well, I'll try the red worm... Nope, I meant put that... Keep that on. I'll try the red worm on hook size of 4 and just see if maybe that gives us a little bit better odds. And I don't think there was any trait that said anything like, the Orids prefer deeper water or not. I know they are something that, I think it said easily spooked. So I don't think I can be in the water or I should be too close to what I'm trying to catch. But we'll let this sit for a while and I'll keep rambling on as, I mean, that's kind of how fishing goes, is just wait for something to happen. But yeah, it's polished up to a point where I don't really think there's anything really missing big content-wise to tackle. There's enough species variety. Actually, that is one thing that... I just keep thinking on more stuff as I touch into it, but species variety seems fine. With the gear having a proper progression curve to it, it feels like you have a goal to go for. It does feel a little bit like the funds you bring in are starting to taper off for how much you get, but truth be told, since we're only running into that now at like gold ranking and there's only gold and diamond, I don't think it's actually all that bad for us running into that now of all times. It's much better to have the point where we've kind of reached an almost endgame feel, and now the gear's getting a little more expensive to snag. But another idea that I had was, for species variety, because right now there isn't really much of a point to like the warden traveling around the map. I don't know if there even is like a warden system on other maps. But what if you have, like, you add invasive species, but instead of catch and release, you actually hold on to them, and then you turn them into, like, a warden or an office or something, and you'll get a little payout in exchange for them. More so than if you just catch and release as, like, some of the other species do. Sort of a way to spread a little bit of awareness of, okay, these are some invasive species in these spots. If you catch or see them, do not release them back into the wild. It's just a little way of trying to be a little bit conservationism, perhaps. But then, yeah, other than that, the Angler, it's come a long way. The extra key bindings, some of the quality of life, it's been great to see. It is just that there might be a few little touches to fully expand it and then it be in a great spot. Compared to Russian Fishing 4, the only aspect that I think I would say Call of the Wild, the Angler, is better at than Russian Fishing 4 is it's a little more respectful to your time. Reason being, you could spend hours saving up some of the funds in Russian Fishing 4 to buy a lure, and because you have the bad luck of a fish too large for your setup snags it, you could have that all completely lost. If Russian Fishing 4 would change it so you permanently keep the hooks, the lures, everything you buy from the shop, I think then I would probably say and recommend going for Russian Fishing 4, as long as it also does a much better and in-depth tutorial. Because yeah, that's a game where it feels like you need an encyclopedia to try to play it because of how lacking its tutorial system is to start with. But other than that, I think they're both pretty decent fishing experiences. If you are going for hardcore realism and angling, Russian Fishing 4 is the one you'll go for, but that also does mean you have the realistic parts of it's going to take you a lot of time and info seeking and such to get the most out of it. Call of the Wild, the Angler, it's definitely something that has more casual to it. It can get a little bit more involved as you get further in the game, but it's much more newbie friendly. Let's put it that way. Will I be picking up any other DLCs for Call of the Wild, the Angler? I think kind of depends on how the series does on the channel going forward. You know, I'm actually going to bring this in because nothing is happening on that. Like, if there are requests to see that, I have no problem keeping it on the weekends, because I do like the mix of, what we've got on the go right now. I think having a hunting and fishing series do complement each other pretty nicely. Yeah, I think... Did they like artificial corn? I can't remember. Yeah, it says they do. So we'll just put that in, and see if maybe that brings any changes. But, yeah, there was a big request and push. Well, I shouldn't say it was a push, but there were a lot of requests and comments asking pretty politely if I would come back to the Angler with the changes that had been done. And I am thankful they came in because it is worth showing the difference that the game's gone through. If there are more comments to show off Troll Spirit, again, I'll schedule that, come back on. And if there are requests to see some of the other DLCs, because I'm trying to remember what the There's Troll Spirit, which I do have, that was given away for free for the little limited time with it. There's I think a map of Spain for going after some of the fish there as well. And then there is the South Africa map that is releasing very soon. So yeah, if you guys, there is something in particular you'd like to see or request, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I do try to read. As much as I do not reply to all the comments that have been coming in, sometimes they're a little harder to reply to just because it's when it comes to certain series, they vary a lot. Some of them are carnivores, where it's a lot of paleontologically accurate comments, just come in and share the little bits of there we go. Share bits of knowledge. Oh, there we go. I'm actually kind of surprised how much resistance there is to the line. Not sure what I've got here. Oh, it looks like that's an Orid. I think a decent size, too. Yeah, it's not really strong enough to be able to put that much tension on the line, but that should be our... Yeah, there's our objective met. So we'll toss you back in. And now we can try to look at what else we can do. Yeah, 200 experience, 200 credits. Ooh, actually, one more mission. I think we will actually be able to get level 22, and then we can go for some more of the gold ones. That'll really test our gear. Oh, I think we have our next one right here. Another gold rank Orid Shroud, and this one... Okay, that's just up there. I think we'll actually get to it faster by going back here. So we'll head for that one next, because we have what could be a winning setup. But yeah, anyway, to the comments, I don't reply to as many of them as I used to. They do sometimes have, big bursts will come in, other times not so much. I've been trying to keep more steady with them, but... Usually when it comes to, requests and such popping in, I do try to let people know on if I will tackle it, or if I don't see it as something I will do. I'm still trying to get a little bit set up for, to do some things, trying to figure out for streaming with the internet service. I have gotten an improvement, so uploading is a lot better, and I don't have as strict time limits for such anymore. But it's still not to enough quality or enough data that I can actually stream like I would like to. So I've got to look into that a little bit further. Nope. Uh-oh, I think I got us lodged into the woods here. Oh, there we go. See, I'm looking into that. There are some series I have in mind for when we get to when I can stream. We will tackle. I have decided, I did sign up for the YouTube partnership program. I am actually making a little bit of stuff coming in now from that, so that's helpful. But I'm not going to be doing any mid-roll ads. I despise those, so you guys won't have to worry about those on any of my videos. I've gotten told by, YouTube for, automatic stuff that I could sign up for, membership stuff or super thanks. I don't think I have enough content ready to be able to, go into that yet. Maybe once we reach 2,000 subs, I'll open up super thanks just as a little something. But I don't see doing memberships anytime soon, because if I'm going to go to that far, I want to have something that you're actually getting in exchange for it. It doesn't really feel right to me to say opening that up without something extra for, what it is. Okay, I'm hopefully following the trail, but I'll just see how it goes. Yeah, we're following the footpath all right. And made it. Doesn't look like there's a little dock here. But we'll try our same setup and see if we get lucky with another Orid. And you know what? I'm just going to do a quick cast and see what happens, since that worked so well last time. So yeah, that's a little bit there. It is nice to see that YouTube is coming along. The time that I have put into it is starting to show a little bit of return and everything. And yeah, I don't have any plans for really slowing down with the channel. The biggest thing is that just I don't have the infrastructure to actually keep growing it and going into stuff I'd like to. It is stuff I'd love to get to, and hopefully sooner rather than later we can get to it, but for now it's still just going as it will be, so you don't have to worry about anything like slow down a series, videos, etc. And we'll just have to wait this out and see. But that, I think, has covered a lot of what I would have had to talk about. I'm hoping we can get the Orid this episode and the next episode. We can try going after some of these really strong fish, like the gold rank channel catfish and such. But it'll all depend on if this setup works at this lake too. It could be because of the different variety the fish have for what they like. Each little water body might have a little bit of difference of what works best for what you're trying to land. Don't really know for sure. But yeah, the angler, it's been nice to have it partnered with Cabela's for the while it has. It is going to be a little weird because we are going from a modern, fairly decent release for a game, partnered with like a much older one, to kind of a reversal. Because like, Way the Hunter is going to be taken over for Cabela's, and then I think it's just called Fishing Adventure. It's a small fishing game on Steam that was on sale a while ago. I picked up with another one. And I figured, you know what, I'll just take them both. We can check that one out, even if it's not very long. It's at least something to show off. But it's definitely going to be a much smaller, tinier game. So I'm not planning for a super long series with it, but enough to get a little bit of a breath of fresh air to change things up a little bit and not keep the channel too stagnant. Because after how long I was doing The Long Dark, Iceborne's ICE, even Carnivore's Legacy, we had everything ongoing for, I'm guessing, at least 10 weeks' time. Because, like, Legacy lasted up to 26 episodes. Monster Hunter Iceborne was 21, 3 per week, so that's, I guess maybe about, oh no, was it 21? No, I can't remember if Iceborne was only 21 episodes, or it was a little longer, but it's at least 7 weeks long, I can say that for sure. And yeah, Long Dark, well, that one, coming back to it, had lasted a while, so it's going to be a change up on series and genres of what I'm tackling, so it might be hits, it might be misses. It just got to try it and see. Well, that's all you can really do, and just take your time with things. So, getting back to talking for Called Wild the Angler, is there anywhere I'd like to see them try to set like another fishing DLC, or like another map that would be interesting to go to? I want to say, I know one is like oceanic fishing. That is one that I think would be really interesting, but I don't know if they have the gear set up right now for it. Like, Troll Spirit kind of has that in a way, I believe, because of how it's like fishing in like Norwegian, I want to say like Norway and Norwegian fjords. I might be mistaken on that, but I thought it was like Sweden, Norway, some kind of like those more northern countries where that's set. But I don't think there's like open ocean or deep sea fishing. That'd be something interesting to get into. Another one would be fly fishing, but I don't know if that one be as restricted. Like, whenever I think of fly fishing, to me, I'm always thinking like North America it happens, but that's probably just because Canadian, that's the only sort of kind of media around that I know of. But yeah, fly fishing, I feel like that one, though, could be difficult to tackle. Truth be told, the bottom fishing is one that I think a lot of people are still waiting for them to change up a little more. Is that? I think there's a plane flying overhead. Like, you can... Yeah, either that or it's a really strange bug, but no, I think that's a plane flying way over up there. I didn't realize that that was a thing that can happen. Okay, I'm going to pull this in, because nothing seems to be happening to that. And maybe I'll try a float fishing setup here. Maybe it is the case of, again, different water body, different preferences. And I'm just going to take a step back, and I'll try over there. But, oh god, I get distracted so easily. Where the hell was I? I think I've talked over everything I really want to, so I am mostly just killing a bit of time to try to end the episode. But, yeah. You guys let me know in the comments all your suggestions, feedback, etc. Not just for, like, if you want to see the Angler continue with Troll Spirit and some other stuff. But also if there are other series you'd like to see done, if there are any genres of game you'd like to see me cover, anything that's, maybe it's a little out of my wheelhouse that I have done on the channel, or there's just a certain title that you really like and you think, I'd like to see you cover this, just see what your thinking is to it. I do try to read all the comments that come in, as much as I don't respond, as I've said. I'm going to try to be a little bit better and make sure I can respond a little bit more ready and regularly with them. And yeah, everything just kind of feels in a pretty good point and feels like it's slowly building towards stuff. So it's a great kind of experience to have for how long I have been on YouTube. As I'm getting towards streaming, I'm kind of torn on if I will try on Twitch or not. The big thing is I have never used it, and I have no idea where to even start with it. But at least on YouTube, I have tried to look a little bit into it, so if I do get to streaming, it'll probably be right here on the site. So it's not going to be somewhere you have to go trying to find me. At least I should hope not. Again, it's probably going to be a little ways off as I try to sort that out, but I can't really give a timeline for it. It's just nice right now having... The upload speed used to be 1.5 megabits per second, and it's gone up to, I think, 5 now, so you can tell, like, it's not a big jump in numbers, but even just that jump of, like, 3 times the upload speed has been such a godsend for how much quicker it is to get content onto the channel. It used to be pretty harsh of I'd be lucky if I had everything uploaded by the Sunday before the new episodes and such would be going out, like, say, Monday forward, so it's been nice getting a little bit more room for that. But I'll just let this sit for a little longer and then probably bring this episode to a close. It doesn't look like we'll be getting that second O-Rid this episode, but we are at least closing in to get the next level, which will let us get, like, hook sizes. There we go. A little dry today with the weather. It'll let us get hook sizes 2 and 1, and that'll let us go for a number of the other gold rank fish that might test our gear a little bit more, but I think we should be able to handle them. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'll just give this another minute, and then we'll probably bring this episode of The Angler to a close. Great spot to be in. I hope you guys have been enjoying everything, and I would love to hear from you. Any comments, ideas, suggestions, stuff like that. I guess there's a little bit of a breeze going, because it seems like it is slowly being taken out to the right there. I'll have to check and see what other things I can put onto the hook. Maybe I'll try more bottom fishing and just switch out instead of the artificial corn, go for something else. Yeah, it's a little bit like watching paint dry, although in this case, it's slowly watching the bobber inch closer and closer to the stump right to its right. And, oh, I see another abandoned lawn chair out there. I wonder if that's going to be a little collectible thing to do, is go around to all these sites, and if you find lawn chairs or that, pick them up. It's like, I'm trying to think of how many different spots we've been to where there's just like a folding chair or a lawn chair just sitting out there left behind. Yeah, I'm going to pull that in, and you know what? I'm just going to walk over and inspect that. There might be a little something to pick up, like collectible or whatever. Oh, actually, speaking of collectible, there's one right here. A little bear figurine. But yeah, again, you can pick those things up, but they don't really have much merit to the game. It feels like they're only included because it's like a staple other games have for themselves. Well, you tried to hide the lawn chair, but you didn't quite do a good enough job. Either that or it's clipped through the ground and this is actually a bug. Yeah, next episode I'll try for the O-Rid trout, see if we do land one, and what we open up for going forward there. But thank you all very much for joining me on this episode called Wild the Angler. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a like, and if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, be sure to leave in the comments right down below. Until I see you all next video episode, Anglers and Survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy angling.